Hey Doug, looking at taking a chance on love, and I should have looked at it closer. The iReal Pro, the fourth chord they have listed as D7, which really isn't that good. It does lead to G minor, but the melody's on B flat, and it really does make more sense to play C7, which means that you'd have a measure of G minor C7 and then another measure of G minor C7, which sometimes is referred to as a retrogression. But in this case, it's more like a step back. So you declare a 2-5, then redeclare the 2-5 before you go back to 1. And then, of course, in the real book, they have this chromatic thing that you've been playing. And the A flat 7 is interesting in that it continues the chromatic and kind of fits the melody note in that the B flat is the ninth, but it's not the strongest progression. And so, if there's a melody, I don't think I can sing it this early in the morning. And so, you have this written in the real book. Here I go again, I hear those trumpets blow again, etc. Please forgive my early morning singing voice, such as it is. Now, if you want to stick with that progression, which is certainly, it sounds nice for the head, then go ahead and do that. If you do want to play it during the solos, then look to vary it from just repeating those roots. Think about the fact that you can use C as a common bounce note between those, like F, C, F sharp, C, then even G, C, A flat, C, and then you can go on with that if you want. So it's or something of that ilk, or you can come down here in this octave. Something like that makes it a little more interesting. Or you could bounce octaves, as we've talked about before, or the opposite way, which I sort of even like better, starting from the top. Seems a little stronger. So you could do that, but the easiest thing to get a more creative bass line is to 1-6-2-5. And so I'm going to have everybody change that fourth chord, in fact, back to C7 instead of D7, which makes more sense. And so then, you just do your thing. Then another 2-5, and then you finally go to 1. And then you have all this. Oh, and by the way, as I've mentioned before, and something to think about, when you change chords across a bar line, especially across a bar line, and you go from the major tonality to the minor on the same root, sometimes I like to start with the third. So looking at this first ending, if you start the beginning of the line from the D minor, you can go G7. Now start the G minor on the B flat, then go to the G. And that makes for a nice line. And that's okay, that 3-6-2-5. So that becomes like, which is nice. And so you kind of bounce using the open G string in this key as a reconnoitering note, if you will. But you wouldn't have to do that, of course. You could re-articulate the root. It just sounds a little, well, maybe not weaker, but it's fun to hear that modal shift between the major and minor by going to the third. So, then if you're 1-6-2-5ing, then here in the key of F, you get all these nice chromatics built into this one position from the top. It's at something like that's right. You're very easy right in the meat of the range to play easily. This A7's fun. You can go to the third, hit that third right away too, because that's an interesting note that's not in the key. Then of course you can play that 3-6-2-5 with your chromatics. Okay, and then the bridge is the same idea. And now here you could play. They have that B diminished written in. Remember that you can play the G. Let everybody else play the B diminished, and you kind of feel like it's a 1-6 or a 2-5-1-6 in B flat now. Go ahead and let everybody play that D, B diminished while you're on G, and then you can hit it again. Then sort of the same thing, even here. And even on this written A flat major seventh, that's written for a whole measure, I might go to F. It would give you the strength of the 2-5-1-6 feeling, and you playing that F is not going to hurt anybody's A flat major seventh. It'll just, you know, make it sound like an F minor 9, which would be cool. So I might, just for the sake of the movement, do that, or not. You could stick on the A flat and just walk down. And then, of course, you got to pivot out to get back to F. That at the end of that bridge, you can do. Here's a nice bass line I was thinking about. If let's say here we are in the 2-5-1 and A flat, you kind of go. Now you can walk up. Here's your B flat minor. Walk up B flat, C, D flat, E flat. Now hit the G minor 7 first with a D, then G, then C, G, and makes a real nice linear approach. That last one, I was busy looking elsewhere. But you get the idea, okay?